Welcome to Art Should Be Illegal, a podcast about art and whether it holds any value to society. Will Snowball's chance make it past the board of censors, or forever be sealed in the archives of shame and depravity? Find out today. My name is Liv. My pronouns are it and she. I am the first chair, first among equals, and I am the person who's speaking right now.
My name is Elissa. My pronouns are she and they, and I have never spoken in my life.
Hi there, I'm Annie. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the last among equals.
The people censor Annie. This is your chance to shine. Your pick from the archives, and you picked a short story.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about this?
So this short story, Snowball's Chance, is from one of my favorite science fiction authors, Charles Stross. It was originally written in 2005 and published in Nova Scotia New Scottish Speculative Fiction, which was it was a collection of Scottish science fiction. And then it was later published in a collection of Stross's own work called Wireless in 2010, which is how we read it.
Yeah, and about this copy, I have some comments on this copy, mainly that it is a poorly made PDF.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I totally won't worry about it. It's just, it is a little weird to see letters having the spacing of the letters being off.
Don't worry about it.
I can't. Yeah, I can't recommend reading it in this manner. I imagine it was better in its original Nova Scotian journal format.
Well, I have a copy of Wireless, which is how I read it. And I recommend anyone that wants to read it, and you should, buy the book.
Yes. Or maybe hold off on that judgment just for a second.
Oh, well, no, I'm already giving my opinion.
We're not sure that it's going to pass muster. Yeah. So.
Okay, so as I said, I'm a fan of Charles Stross, but I've never actually read Snowball's Chance before. I am really into his other work. So Charles Stross, for some background, is a big speculative fiction guy. His biggest, brainworm is the singularity. Dude loves writing about the singularity.
Okay, so he's like a first principles Rocco Basilisk guy.
Don't put that evil on him. Don't do that.
Okay.
But he loves to write really far future post-singularity fiction about weird shit. I've never read any of his singularity stuff, though. I just know that he does this. I'm more into his cosmic horror spec fic, which is what us knowers call speculative fiction.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he's written...
Oh.
He wrote A Colder War, which is probably his most famous work, which is what if the Cold War happened in the Lovecraft universe? Love it. Great. Free online, published online, free and legit. And then I've also read another one of his much longer novellas called Missile Gap, which has a similar flavor. And then he's also really well known for the Laundry series, which is also sort of cosmic horror, speculative fiction. All that in mind, let's start talking about Snowball's Chance.
Yeah, and from the first line, I know that this is going to be a difficult read for me personally, because it is, it's very descriptive, but not in words you would usually. It's it.
I want to hear it from you, Liv. Let's hear you read it out.
The luring sky, half past pregnant with a coal of snow, pressed down on Davis's head like the promise of tomorrow's hangover. I don't like it.
He glanced up once, shivered, then pushed through the doorway into the deed nurse and the smog of fag fumes within.
Yeah, no, I just...
Not enough stories have the nuts to talk about fag fumes, but this is that bold, and I appreciate that so much.
I listen, I produce fag fumes. I'm at home in them.
Yeah, I have a question here. Is the author British? Is that why it's written
he's
like
Scottish,
this?
hence being published in a journal for Scottish science fiction.
And hence a significant chunk of this not being in English.
Yes, dear reader, it's important to note that all of the dialogue from Scottish characters, which is all but one of them, is written in Scots.
Yeah, it is. It's like someone took. I don't even know. It's like someone took Scottish and just transliterated it, and it's not tricky to read. It's just annoying. I did not like it. Okay, here. No, Actually, here's a note. Here's a note for future authors. If you want to pass this censor board with flying colors, don't do this. It's almost okay because it's a Scottish person doing Scottish whatever this is. But like, if you look at this and go, "Oh yeah, I could do this for any ethnicity and it'll be fine," don't do it. No. Don't fucking do it. I will press the button. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And I can see I'm blowing out my mic. I'm fucking hitting the button.
Yeah, do not do this. Do not do this if it is not your culture. Dear God.
Definitely.
Like, Mark Twain got away with it because it was the 19th century and he was a really good author, and that's it.
Yeah, I think we give Mark Twain a lot of leeway because he is the only modern American author until like a really, really long time. And before him, it's all shit like pamphlets and that dude who really likes to talk about money. What's his name?
Alexander Hamilton?
Sure.
Adam Smith?
I don't know. I don't read a lot of Americana.
I don't know what writers like to talk about money in America.
Such a vague description.
Yeah. I went for the two money guys.
I think what's going to happen is that next week we're going to read Mark Twain, and we're all going to be really, really uncomfortable.
Okay.
Moving swift.
No.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to read a Mark Twain because those things are fucking long. And I chose this story, which is like 5 pages, because I wanted it to be something very simple and digestible for the first written piece of art that we read.
I can already feel myself preparing to change my pick to The Mysterious Stranger.
Oh, that's the worst one you could choose. That's not even finished. This art podcast is not a weapon to be cudgeled against the others. Okay, moving along. So Davy is a Scottish rogue that is living in, I think it's Glasgow, and he walks into a pub, and it's very clear that it's very, very cold in Scotland today.
Yeah.
Anyone want to explain why?
Well, first off, I thought it was it's winter in Scotland, hence cold. And then I did not think of it until it was mentioned, oh yeah, global warming happened, and it was a big, huge disaster. It's like if all of the climate disasters happened all at once, and it's not a good time.
Yeah, I mean, he actually goes into some pretty interesting detail about what happened. It's not that low level, but it's generally that the Antarctic ice shelf collapsed, which destroyed the jet stream, and that plunged Britain into essentially a new ice age immediately. And then the Americans put a giant umbrella over the northern hemisphere to stop greenhouse gases, and this just fucked over Britain even harder.
They got a double ice age.
Here's the thing. I'm here for it. We should do that now. Yes,
absolutely.
This podcast is taking a very consistent anti-British stance, if you haven't noticed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can all, this is something that we all applaud.
In many ways, this is a utopian vision of the future.
Mm-hmm.
We're just better than what we're going to get.
Yeah, we're just seeing it from the perspective of the losers, which, that makes it a little bad, but they deserved it, as we're going to find out.
Yes.
Wait, did they?
Liv, probably not.
I thought I had missed something very important that sort of got missed in the weird wording, and not,
Okay, so they're hanging out in this bar. He meets up with a friend of his, Old Tam, and they're talking about the other people in the bar. And I just want to read this line. Right now, a bunch of threadbare LARPers were in residence arguing over some recondite piece of lore.
Very British.
Incredible.
Just knowing your audience,
Fuck you, LARPers.
Yeah, but it's also it's nice to see that in the future, where climate change is happening, very, very it's climate catastrophe. Some people are still having some fun with foam swords in a muddy field.
Hey, people are still going to live their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. People are still going to live their lives, despite everything being shit.
Yeah. So the next they're talking about global warming. We kind of already touched on that.
It's weird. But not in a good way.
Say more.
It's we're seeing a lot of we've been giving a lot of clues to a very interesting world and interesting story that we don't get to see any more of, and I think that's a real damn shame. The automatic sign that says no smoking, and then it comes up with 2 warnings and goes like, it gives you lung cancer, and then there's a huge fine, maybe.
It's a €2,000 fine for smoking.
Yeah, there's some politics here, which is amazing, but let's just go into this. It's being editorialized by the author, or by the main character at least, that goes like, smoking gives you cancer, but like, we can cure cancer, that's not a problem. And a huge fine in euros, that's not usually the currency of the British Isles. But no one's going to enforce the laws in this climate apocalypse. I like it.
I like the detail that's buried in here, that they're still using coal.
Yeah.
They just never move away from fossil fuels. In fact, they've moved backward on fossil fuels, which is, given the current moment, pretty prescient.
Yeah. I mean, this story is really dense. It's 5 pages, but there's a lot going on.
There's so much going on. And like, I think I would be fine. I'm fine with so much going on. I love it. I love when things are going on. I don't like the literate way of writing.
I love it personally.
Liv, you're in the minority here.
That may be.
I also, a couple other little notes I have here about the beginning of this. I think you can tell that this was written a while ago because it says the Ukraine and didn't get death threats for it.
Yeah, that's
also, you can easily tell that this was written way before anyone had even thought about the possibility of Brexit.
That's true.
Every part of this.
Hey, I'm about to show my entire ass here. What do you mean we're not supposed to say the Ukraine?
Oh. When the war between Russia and Ukraine broke out, people started getting really weird about people saying the Ukraine. And I mean, there was a lot of like conspiracy theorizing that people saying the Ukraine were all Russian agents, even though that was a pretty common thing for a century or so prior to that.
What? Huh?
I'm glad you don't know about this. Be glad you don't know about this.
Listen, I don't go on the internet. This is why.
Yeah, don't go on the internet ever. It gets really weird.
Yeah. Okay. They talk a little bit about Davy going on vacation, which is a silly idea because it requires a ridiculous amount of money to go anywhere in this post-climate collapse hell future.
Or just any amount of money.
Yeah. But the Northern Sahara is now like a tropical resort destination controlled by, quote, the Caliphate.
Too real. Too real. I don't like it. This is the future where ISIL just took over, started taking over the Levant, and then just kept going.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that it's ISIL. Well, the IS.
Yes, at this point, it's really just the IS.
Because, at this point, it's just the IS. Yeah, because there's no in the Caliphate, which is so depressing. We want to see those. Can I say that?
Controversial.
Okay. That's fine. We can cut that out. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, and we can begin asking the question: who censors the censors?
Anyway, okay. So they just talk about how it's shitty
they talk
everywhere.
about vacation. Apparently, the Americans are still a power to be reckoned with, which is interesting in like a cyberpunk context, at least, because the other like the main cyberpunk body of work of Neuromancer is very much. Oh yeah, no, the US like as a polity doesn't really exist.
I mean, every cyberpunk setting I can think of does that, which is really interesting.
Also, it's a little annoying that they all do the same thing. It's like, come up with your own thing. Like have them annex Canada.
I mean, that was Fallout. Fallout did that.
Oh right, and also possibly depending on when this is released, contemporary America. Too soon?
Whoa. Oof. Big oof.
So yeah, at this point, the devil walks in.
Yeah, just the devil himself.
And there's a little note in here also about how it's just kind of normal for a guy with brass horns embedded in his skull to walk into the room. And again, who's really to say if this future is good or bad? Because that sounds cool.
It does. It sounds based as hell.
It's pretty damn sick.
And I do like it when my cyberpunk story takes a turn and goes, actually, this is a story about the devil. It's very From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, 2 pages into this 5-page story,
exactly.
The devil shows up.
And I mean,
What
I would respect more authors who had the brass balls, the stones to just go, here's a character. He doesn't have a name. It's the devil. Moving on.
So that's true. But it's important to note that Charles Stross does a very Charles Stross thing here, where he's not the devil. He's a devil.
Right, yeah. He's part of this vast metaphysical bureaucracy, and they have a problem.
Yeah. And it's like...
His boss is on his ass about this.
Yeah, and who...
His boss is Alanis Morissette. AKA God.
So a devil walks in and goes, "Hi, I am practically an accountant. I work for God, and we owe you in like the big cosmic spreadsheet that we all put together, like God's fucking balance sheet."
Also, we put all those religions there just to fuck with you. We thought it was really funny, and it was.
Yeah,
correct.
And like when he fucks up, God makes him quote scripture at Davey. And he hates this shit. It hurts him.
Yeah.
But he's like quoting the Bible and just not happy about it. Another really fun detail about this devil is very explicitly English. And I'm like, yeah, you can tell a Scottish person wrote
some
this.
Commentary. Yeah. Although the implication here, of course, by a devil being English is one, the English work for God, and also that they're way more powerful than the Scottish, which sort of works. But it's a strange fiction to write, going, oh yeah, I don't like the English, but I respect them.
I don't think he's supposed to be literally English. I just think that's an affectation that the devil puts on that is appropriate to his character. That would be
hilarious.
Well, so the way that they make it sound in this is that he is stationed in this area. Like this is the British devil. And if you went to North America, there would maybe be a different devil. I guess he does say that he goes to like America, but there's ostensibly some sort of like zone in which he operates. Yeah. And there are several others operating in different areas.
In Canada, he's Quebecois. Yeah. In Quebec, he's French. In most of America, he's from Utah for some reason. It's really, really odd.
Yes.
Wow, shade on the Utonians?
Utahns. I think it's Utahns, I believe.
Don't like that.
Oh, man. Shade on the Utahns.
I don't know. You pick out a subgroup of a sovereign nation and just like, let's have a go at it.
Californians.
I said sovereign.
Yeah?
Yeah, like a country.
Is California not sovereign? Damn.
The states of the United States cannot leave the United States. It's not possible.
Hey, we fought a war over that. It was for states' rights.
States' right to what, doctor?
Anyway.
Oh, God. Okay, so
this is off the rail. This is so
yes, it is.
So far off the rails right now. Hello, friends. Just taking a quick moment to remind you to follow or subscribe, depending on what platform you're using. I think it also goes without saying that, as appropriate, you should not under any circumstances forget to jingle our bell as well. And finally, from the bottom of our hearts, let me thank you for thumbing our pod, or rating us if that's the kind of website you're into. And now, back to the action.
Okay, so the devil talks to the main character and goes, okay, I'm a big nerd about spreadsheet and my boss fucking hates me. If I don't make the spreadsheet go correct, something bad will happen to me, maybe?
That's not really clear, but it doesn't really matter.
Davey has been too big of a piece of shit in his life. and now a debt is owed. He has paid too much. He has paid too many taxes. The system now owes him. He's due a refund.
The thing about this that I actually really like is the devil's very clear. It's like, Davy is not an especially bad piece of shit. It's not that he's like a worse person than everyone else. It's that he's like a perfect example of a piece of shit.
Right.
Like, he's just a scumbag, but in a really human way. That's the idea. And I like that. I really like it.
But also, there's some things up top. God has a spreadsheet of bad and good, or like evil question mark, and usually people have to be sort of suckered into putting in evil into the system, like working some evil hours, clocking in at the evil factory,
as you do.
But Dave has just been doing it pro bono, and now his day has come. He's being rewarded.
He's owed a wage.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking union rules, am I right?
This is so union rules. One of the little details that's sprinkled in here is that so Davy gets really mad at the devil at one point for just mentioning his like separated wife. And so he like is about to punch the devil, but he suddenly stops being mad. And this is how he describes it. It might just have been the hypothalamic implant that the sheriff had added to his list of parole requirements, working his arcane magic on his brain chemistry. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's very dystopian.
It is. It really is.
I love that detail more than you can possibly imagine.
And then there's also a weird nod to Night of the Hunter of all things. He's got love tattooed on one hand and hate on the other. I'm not sure what the specific meaning of that is. Is that just like a prison stereotype now?
Sure. It means he loves hate.
that originally came from the classic movie Night of the Hunter.
I mean, that may well be the case then.
Where a man, an escaped or recently freed con man, pretends to be a man of the church.
Bombshell.
I thought you were going to follow up with something else.
I thought you were saying more. Yeah, you kind of ended on an upward inflection there.
Yeah. Well, you know, he turns out to be a big piece of shit that tries to do some illegal crimes. Maybe we'll watch it at some point.
Maybe this is a reference to that, like intentionally.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why else you would do that specific thing, but I don't know. Maybe it's just like a stereotype of dudes that go to prison since that movie came out.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it in other fiction for sure. So when the devil is describing like just how much of a piece of shit Davy is, he uses a phrase that is very good. He just says, "You're truly just a professional hater." So good.
Yeah, I love this whole exchange of just like, no, you don't understand. I owe you a lot. I'm a huge fan of your work. You have no idea how great you've been to me. I bought my house on the crimes that you've done, and now I have to repay you. That's how this works.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, you could get me another beer. That's not my wish. I don't want that. Because the devil's like, you can have anything you want as long as it doesn't like break the laws of reality. You can have anything.
Yeah, they're like, okay, so there are rules to the devils and also a moral codex where, of course, he can't break the rules of physics. He can't travel in time and change things in the past. And he also can't make a wish that's too small. Like, it has to be like a real big thing.
Yeah, he'll just give you a beer. You can't wish for a beer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it has to be like a big thing.
Yeah, although it is really important to me to note that this contract between the two of them is subject to the consumer credit regulations of 2026.
Yes.
Like, that's explicitly stated. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but it's very funny.
It is funny. It's a good goof. Just like, again, this is all just like it's a bureaucracy that is just, it's there in the background, and this is just him interacting with it for the first time. And they've got all these procedures they have to go through. He has to read this whole spiel to him. He's got to do all this stuff.
You say that it's in the background, and then we have a half paragraph of just legalese. That is just, we didn't need this.
I needed it. I needed it so badly.
I'm getting out my big black felt-tipped pen and just going, no. Rewrite.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself, hon. You're so wrong about this. You could not be more incorrect.
It's exactly the kind of bullshit I crave.
Wow.
I like dark and I like bureaucratic.
Hey, me too. So the first thing that he asked for is like, hey, could you unfuck my relationship with my wife? Could I be happy with her? And he's just like, nope, can't do that.
that would turn you into not a fuck up, and I can't do that. It would create a paradox.
Yeah, no time paradoxes.
The whole reason you're here, the whole reason I owe you so much is that you're such a fuck up, and that's so important. It's we cannot change you fundamentally as a person. You must remain a fuck up no matter what.
And then at least this devil reveals, oh, also there's no afterlife. When you die, that's it.
Unless you super fuck up.
Yeah, it's super weird. He says, we were brought in to run this universe, but we didn't make it. Oh, okay, that's an interesting piece of world building.
Yeah.
It is. And I sort of wish there was more writing on this that went somewhere.
It does feel a little bit like it was supposed to be the first act of something, and then he couldn't figure out where to go with it.
Yeah.
And so he just finished it.
It suffers from this one thing that we also see a lot in movies where the characters will talk about something, and that thing would have been way more interesting to see on screen, but we never get to.
I disagree. Where this story goes is so good.
I mean, yeah, there is an amazing payoff. I don't disagree with this. It's just I would have hoped again that this would be like the first little intro bit to an interesting novel.
Well, let this be the first little intro bit to a really great author.
Damn.
Ooh, I have some unkind words for that one.
Because his other writings, his novels are a similar deal to this. So if you like this, anyway.
I mean, that sounds good to me.
Yeah. So Davey just gets super pissed off at the devil. He's like, this guy thinks he's better than me. This devil thinks he's better than me, a piece of shit criminal.
Who's this guy?
Nobody's better than me.
And that is very true to life. That this is a thing that real people will tell you, like, you're not better than me. I'm like a criminal and you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. He's like, I hate it when people tell me what to do. I just like to get slippery.
I hate it. I hate it when someone comes down, tells me for real, you can have a wish. And then I just get angry.
Who the fuck is this piece of shit to offer me one wish? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like the devil's like, I like the cut of your jib. I will give you literally anything you want. The only restriction is it can't break the laws of physics.
Yeah, and then you get angry because you can't break the laws of physics.
Yeah, you're like, I can't have my wife back, then fuck you.
Oh, and there's also some there's no hell. And when you die, you either one of two things happen. Either you get reincarnated so you can do better, or you just join God in her head and become part of her system.
You either fuck up so badly they make you take a mulligan, or you join the bureaucracy.
I've read about some philosophies and theologies that are like that. So, nice to support Jainism,
yeah,
I guess.
we love to see it. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
what
love,
does Davey end up wishing for?
I love the angle he takes on this, where he's just like, well, I'd like it to be warm. Well, I can't just make it warm. Okay, well, I have a way you could make it warm.
Yeah, and this is the point where America becomes relevant again, because they made a big umbrella thing they put in low Earth orbit to cool down the Earth, and of course subsequently cool a lot of places that were already kind of cold.
Yeah.
But what if...
He's like, can you just break their fucking umbrella? Just destroy it? Devil's like, yeah, sure. That's easy. Bam.
Yeah, just like, oh yeah, sure, it's done. Give it an hour and it's just going to get hit by a fucking meteor. It's fine.
Yeah. And then Davey reveals his trap card.
Yes.
Do you wanna take us in like an asteroid in low Earth orbit?
He comes in with the okay, well, I just doomed a couple billion people. Do I get any additional wishes for that?
And the devil's like, what? You did that on purpose? Are you fucking for real that you did this on purpose? And he's like, yeah.
The devil is astonished at how much of a piece of shit this guy truly is.
Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, okay, I gotta go do some paperwork and talk to my boss. Genuinely. I'm not making a joke. He's like, I gotta go talk to my supervisor.
Here, take my phone so I can get in touch with you.
Yeah. So he gives him his phone and is like, hey, yeah, so you can have a wish. And actually, it's not just one wish, because he starts like counting up how many wishes Davy's earned through this action. And it's like going up as he's counting. So it's like things are getting worse and worse.
And then, the final twist.
The final twist is the devil like leaves the bar and he leaves the bar, and then Davy's friend Tam walks back in and is like, hey, yeah, so I just mugged that guy.
Yeah, no, he calls him. Davy calls him and says, okay, he's all yours now. And then Tim comes in a minute later with the 2 brass horns, having robbed him.
Presumably just ripped him out of his skull.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the story. That's Snowball's chance.
I love that final twist of just fucking... The whole reason Tam left was to go stand outside and wait for the guy so he could rob him when he left.
Truly a couple of fucking scumbags.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, what do we think?
I had a great time with this. I thought it was tremendously fun. I like this weird little world that's been put together. I struggled to find any faults with it, honestly.
Yeah, same.
I like the world building more than the text. And that really took me out of the story. Every time I read something, I went, this is very interesting, except for the text that's describing it.
Okay.
And it's a shame. It took me out of the experience of reading the short story.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you want Charles Stross to write you a roguelike.
Sure.
Sorry. What I'm hearing is that you want Charles Stross to write you a Souls-like. You want him to like write the item descriptions.
No, the other way around. I want him to write the story that's in the background, or at least.
Okay.
So the item descriptions.
I like that it's dense, but my main problem here is that I keep coming back to this, that the text is uninteresting. Like, some guy's a scumbag, whatever, but everything that sort of led up to this moment, that could be interesting.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. And this is a genuine from the heart recommendation. You should read his short story Missile Gap, which has a very similar way of writing, but it's darker and it talks a lot more about what is going on. And then there's also the Laundry series of novels, which is quite long. And that's like this, but like $15. So, yeah.
Okay.
And I agree with Elissa. I really love this short story. I would see this released and forcibly read to children at the age of 12.
Yeah, that's almost exactly what I was going to say. There are a lot of good values in this that children could learn. It should be not only released to the public, but promoted vigorously.
Oh, okay. What values are present here?
Scumbaggery pays off and you get wishes.
Yeah.
You should rob people in bars because they might be the devil.
Yep.
And if global warming happens, we should make sure that it happens to everyone equally. Okay, I'm actually joking about... I was making a joke about that last point. I realized that's actually really true. This is a really interesting point.
Yeah.
This story in the background has, like, global warming, the climate collapse happened, but the Americans used their wealth to, like, push off the harm to other people, which is a really interesting philosophical discussion.
It's certainly something that's happening at the moment and also will keep happening.
Yeah.
It's bordering on being too real.
Yeah.
But the people it's happening to usually see themselves as being in the imperial core.
Yeah, and even among the people that are harmed, they're usually the poorer, more marginalized members of that group. And that's not good. You heard it here first, folks. It's not good when poor people get hurt. I don't like it. So,
Liv, are you in favor of censoring or banning this particular work?
Oh, this would be banned. The only compromise position I would be able to take would be to send it back to the author and go, needs more work.
Okay.
Send it back with the words, make bigger.
The state takes care of you from cradle to grave, and now the state demands that you make this bigger.
Could you imagine getting that note on your novella that you submitted? It's just like a post-it note, and on it is written, make it bigger.
Listen, you would get like a very, very nice note in official letterhead. Make bigger, dictated but not read. Sincerely yours, the secretariat at the Collegiate of Censors.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, Liv, you are the chair, but you are simply first among equals, so we do overrule you. This will be released with no edits.
The Politburo will hear about this.
We can send a post-it note to the author saying, if you feel like it, make bigger. Consider making bigger.
Oh, please do. I would love that.
But that would be the extent of our action, I think.
Yeah, I would love that. I'm with you on there.
Is Charles Stross still alive?
Very much so. He's pretty young.
Oh, he's 60.
He's got plenty of years to make this bigger.
Yeah, we should write.
Yeah.
He can enlarge this at any time.
So that was Snowball's chance. I loved it.
Yeah, this is a great time. And now the time has come, and I must pick our next thing. And I have chosen the 1991 French dystopian comedy Delicatessen.
Dystopian comedy?
Yes.
We love to see it.
We're really going for a vibe here. Dystopian comedy seems to be a trend for the last two.
Well, I for one can't wait to watch this.
Yes, it is a film.
A film?
Yeah. It is, however, in French, but it is also a tight 1 hour and 39 minutes. So
we love to see it.
Ooh, we do love that.
Possibly even a one sessioner.
Wow.
This has been Art Should Be Illegal, and albeit a bit shorter today, podcast about art. And we all hope from our deepest hearts and the tip of our censorship pens that you've enjoyed it. We hope to see you next time.